I stood outside the restaurant, staring through the glass doors as my cousin Melissa cracked them open just enough to block me. "Sorry, Emma, we're at capacity. Maybe try the diner down the street?" Behind her, champagne glasses clinked. My father's voice carried through the gap, mid-toast, laughter echoing. I could see my name card, the one that had been at the table, now crumpled in the hostess stand trash can. They didn't run out of room. They erased me. My name is Emma, and I'm 24 years old. I'm a freelance graphic designer. I work from a small apartment with secondhand furniture and a desk I found on Facebook Marketplace. I love what I do, the creative freedom, the quiet mornings with coffee and my laptop, building brands for small businesses who actually appreciate the work. But my family? They never saw it that way. I'm the middle child of 3. My sister Vanessa works in marketing. She's got the polished Instagram life, designer bags, rooftop brunches, that effortless glow that comes from having money and knowing it. My brother Tyler sells real estate. He drives a leased BMW and talks about closing deals like he's some Wall Street mogul. Me? I'm the one they don't talk about at dinner parties. My mom passed away 3 years ago. She was the only one who ever really saw me, who asked about my projects, celebrated my first paid client, believed I could build something real. After she died, I became invisible at family gatherings, a ghost in my own bloodline. Dad was always proud of Vanessa and Tyler. Their flashy careers made sense to him. But my work? He'd barely glance at my designs, never asked how business was going, just nodded politely and changed the subject. I wasn't rich or glamorous like my siblings, but I had something they didn't expect, the freedom to build something real, on my own terms. I worked late nights, took on small projects, built my portfolio one client at a time. It was slow, it was quiet, but it was mine. If you've ever been pushed aside by family, subscribe right now and tell me where you're watching from. I need to know I'm not alone in this. Tonight wasn't just about a party. It was the moment everything came to a head. A week before that locked door, my father called a family meeting. It was at Vanessa's house, sleek, modern, the kind of place that smells like expensive candles and success. I got the invite last minute in the group chat. Just a casual family meeting of Vanessa's, 6 p.m. I showed up 10 minutes early. Everyone was already seated, deep in conversation. They'd clearly started without me. My father sat at the head of the table reading glasses perched on his nose, papers spread in front of him. Vanessa sipped wine. Tyler scrolled his phone, half listening. My Uncle Richard leaned back in his chair like he owned the place. I slid into the last empty seat. Nobody acknowledged me. Dad cleared his throat. "All right, now that we're all here?" He didn't. "Look at me. I'm retiring, selling the construction company. Time to pass along the legacy." My stomach fluttered. Legacy. That word felt heavy, important. "I'm splitting the proceeds among those who've shown real ambition," he continued. I sat up straighter. I'd been working so hard. Maybe he'd noticed. Maybe this was my moment. "Vanessa and Tyler will each receive $150,000. Vanessa smiled. Tyler nodded like he'd expected it. Dad paused, glanced at me for the first time. "Emma, you'll get $10,000. Should help with whatever you're doing." The air left my lungs. 10,000. Vanessa smirked over the rim of her wine glass. "Dad's being practical, Em. You've never really invested in yourself, right?" Tyler piled on without missing a beat. "Maybe take a business class? Learn how actual money works?" I opened my mouth. My voice came out shaky. "Dad, He raised a hand. "This isn't up for debate. My money, my rules. Be grateful." Uncle Richard nodded from across the table. "Can't reward mediocrity. Tough love, kiddo." I felt my face burn. My throat tightened. I stood up. The chair scraped too loud against the floor. Vanessa called after me. "Don't be so dramatic, Emma. You're always too sensitive." My father didn't look up, didn't stop me. I walked out into the cool evening air and sat in my car for 20 minutes, hands trembling on the steering wheel. Here's the thing they didn't know. The thing I'd kept to myself for months. I'd been secretly hoping to use my share to expand my business, hire help, rent studio space, scale up. Because 6 months earlier, I'd quietly made my first $100,000. They thought $10,000 was charity. They had no idea I'd already made more than any of them expected. The week after that meeting, my father's retirement party was planned at our family's favorite upscale restaurant. I got the invitation in the group chat. Same casual tone, but something felt off. I texted Vanessa the day of the party. "What's the dress code?" She replied an hour later. "Whatever. It's casual." I showed up in nice jeans and a blazer, professional but relaxed. The second I walked up to the entrance, I knew I'd been lied to. Through the glass, I saw everyone in formal wear. Vanessa in a cocktail dress, Tyler in a suit. My father at the head of the table in a pressed button-down and tie. The doors were locked. I knocked. Cousin Melissa opened them just a crack. Her face flushed. "We're full. No room." "Melissa, I'm literally on the guest list." "Sorry, Emma." She wouldn't meet my eyes. "Maybe try the diner down the street?" I looked past her, counted 3 empty chairs. My father stood, raising his glass. "To my 2 successful children who've made me so proud." 2, not 3. He didn't mention me. I didn't exist in his toast. Uncle Richard spotted me through the window. Our eyes met. He turned away deliberately. My phone buzzed. Group chat notification. A photo. The whole family crowded together, smiling. Caption: "Perfect night with the people who matter." I wasn't in it. The message was clear. 2 weeks later, I forced myself to attend my grandmother's 80th birthday brunch. I'd thought about not going, but she'd always been kind to me, even if she didn't understand what I did for work. I brought a gift I'd spent hours on, a custom photo album, professionally designed, printed on premium paper, filled with family memories I'd digitally restored and enhanced. When I walked in, my family barely looked up. "Oh, Emma, didn't think you'd make it," Aunt Carol said flatly. I sat at the far end of the table. Gift opening time came. My grandmother gushed over Vanessa's designer purse, praised Tyler's luxury spa package. Then she opened mine, flipped through it quickly. "Oh, that's sweet, dear. Very homemade." Aunt Carol laughed. "How crafty. So DIY. Vanessa leaned over, glanced at the album. "It's cute, Emma. Very you." My jaw tightened. "I actually run a design business. This is professional level work." Tyler scoffed. "Come on, a design business? You mean freelancing in your pajamas?" My father set down his fork. His voice was firm, final. "Let's not pretend hobbies are careers. Emma, your sister just closed a 6-figure marketing deal." Everyone immediately congratulated Vanessa. My work, hours of effort, professional skill, genuine love, dismissed in seconds. My grandmother pulled me aside later, her hand on my arm. "Maybe it's time for a stable job, sweetheart. You're not getting any younger." I excused myself to the bathroom. In the hallway, I heard Vanessa and Aunt Carol talking. "She's so embarrassing, always playing the victim." "I know. She makes everything about her." I stood frozen, listening. That's when something inside me shifted. I stopped trying to explain, stopped hoping they'd understand. A week later, Tyler called. Out of nowhere, cheerful, friendly. "Hey sis, need a favor. Can you design some marketing materials for my real estate listings?" I hesitated. "Sure. My rate is..." "Wait, Rate? He laughed. We're family. I assumed you'd do it for free. Good exposure for you, right? Tyler, this is literally my profession. I charge for my time. His tone turned ice cold. Wow. Dad gives you 10 grand and you think you're a businesswoman now? This has nothing to do with... He hung up. An hour later, the group chat exploded. Vanessa. Can't believe Emma won't even help her own brother. Selfish much? Aunt Carol. Family should come first. Uncle Richard. Entitled generation? Then my father texted me privately. Very disappointed. Family should support each other. I stared at the screen. They only contacted me when they wanted free labor, then punished me for having boundaries. I muted the group chat, stopped replying, and I channeled every ounce of hurt into my work. What they didn't know was that 6 months before my father's retirement bombshell, my entire life had changed. I'd landed my first major client through Instagram, a small boutique that needed a complete rebrand. Logo, packaging, social media templates, website design. I charged $15,000. I was terrified. But I was confident in my skill. The client loved it. Referred me to 3 more businesses. I started specializing in branding for women-owned small businesses. Built a portfolio quietly. Never posted on my personal social media. Kept my work life completely separate from my family. By the time my father made his announcement, I was making $12,000 to $15,000 a month. I had $100,000 in savings, 3 retainer clients on monthly contracts, a growing wait list. But I kept it secret because I wanted to build something undeniable first, because I knew my family would find a way to minimize it, and because I enjoyed having one thing that was entirely mine. After the $10,000 insult, something clicked. I stopped craving their approval. I started planning. I kept every dismissive text, every group chat screenshot, not for revenge, but as proof of who they really were. I began working with a business coach on scaling my income, hired a virtual assistant, started the paperwork for an official LLC. They thought I needed their money to make it. I was about to prove how wrong they were. I met my best friend Jordan for coffee the day after my grandmother's birthday disaster. I broke down, told her everything. Jordan's an accountant. Sharp, no nonsense, fiercely loyal. She set down her mug. Why are you still trying with them? You're literally more successful than both your siblings combined. They don't see it that way. Because you haven't shown them. You keep protecting people who don't protect you. She proposed something bold. Launch my business publicly. Stop hiding my success. Make it official. Make it undeniable. What if I fail publicly? I whispered. Jordan leaned forward. What if you succeed loudly? Over the next few weeks, she helped me structure everything: business banking, LLC paperwork, financial planning. Meanwhile, my family's arrogance escalated. Tyler bought a flashy sports car, posted it all over Instagram. Vanessa got promoted. My father threw her a celebration dinner. I wasn't invited. I saw the group chat conversation I wasn't part of. Aunt Carol. So proud of these 2, real go-getters. Dad. I raised them, right? Uncle Richard. Good genes clearly skipped Emma. Laughing emoji. Vanessa. She's just on a slower path. I screenshotted everything. Said nothing. Then my father texted me directly. Your grandmother says you're still doing computer stuff. Time to think about real stability. I know a bank manager. Might get you an entry-level position. The irony was staggering. He was offering me entry-level work while I was making 6 figures. They had absolutely no idea who I actually was. I made my decision. Official launch, public announcement, professional rollout. And I'd debut it all at my father's birthday dinner in 3 weeks, on my own terms. Jordan helped me prepare brand photographer, professional headshots, polished portfolio website with glowing testimonials. I printed business cards, loaded my portfolio on a tablet, gathered all my documentation. I wasn't doing this to prove something to them. I was doing it to prove everything to myself. My father's birthday dinner was at the same upscale restaurant where they'd locked me out. I arrived in a sharp blazer and tailored pants, new confidence in my posture. The hostess smiled. "Right this way." My family's heads turned as I approached the table. Vanessa blinked. "Oh, you actually came. Thought you'd be busy with your laptop stuff." I smiled genuinely. Wouldn't miss Dad's birthday. Dinner was the same as always. Conversation flowed around me. They talked over me, through me, past me. Gift time came. Tyler presented expensive whiskey in a wooden box. Vanessa gave a premium golf set. I handed my father a card with a $500 steakhouse gift certificate inside. He opened it, his eyebrows raised. "Emma, don't spend money you can't afford. That $10,000 wasn't for splurging." I met his eyes. Calm, steady. "I didn't use your money, Dad." Uncle Richard leaned back. "Still messing around with computers, Emma?" Here it was. My moment. "Actually, I run a branding and design agency. I specialize in complete business identity overhauls." Aunt Carol chuckled into her wine. "That's a sweet little hobby." "It's not a hobby. It's my full-time career. I have 12 active clients and a 3-month wait list." Silence dropped over the table. Tyler laughed nervously. "Okay, Em, you don't need to exaggerate for us." I pulled out my tablet, opened my sleek professional portfolio website, slid it across the table. They leaned in, scrolled through stunning before and after case studies, read glowing testimonials, saw polished high-end branding work. Vanessa's face shifted. Confusion, disbelief. "Wait, these look actually professional?" "They are. I've been building this business for 2 years." My father stared at the screen. "Why didn't you ever mention this?" I didn't blink. "I did. Multiple times. You called it a hobby. When I shared client wins, you changed the subject. You didn't ask. So I stopped offering." The table went quiet. Tyler's face flushed. "It's still small potatoes, not real income." The door opened. Jordan walked in. I'd invited her. "Mind if I join?" she asked, smiling warmly. I gestured to the empty chair. "This is Jordan, my accountant and best friend." Jordan sat, polite but firm. "Emma's business grossed $180,000 last year. She's on track for $250,000 this year." The table froze. Vanessa's mouth fell open. That can't be right." I pulled up my business bank statements on the tablet. Professionally formatted, appropriately redacted, but undeniable. My father stared. "You're making... That's more than the $300,000 you split between Vanessa and Tyler." "Yes." Tyler's face turned red. "Then why didn't you speak up when Dad divided the money?" I let the silence sit for a beat. "Because I didn't need it, and I wanted to see if any of you valued me without it." My grandmother's voice was small. "Emma, why hide this from us?" I turned to her. My voice softened. "I didn't hide it, Grandma. I lived it openly. I invited everyone to follow my business Instagram a year ago." I pulled up the old group message, the link I'd shared. 0 responses. I posted about landing my first 5-figure client. Silence. Announced hiring an assistant. Nothing. Vanessa's eyes filled with tears. "We didn't realize you were serious." "You didn't care enough to find out." I scrolled through the screenshots, read them aloud. Tyler mocking my laptop work. Aunt Carol dismissing my career as a phase. Uncle Richard's "good genes skipped Emma" comment. My father reached across the table. Emma, we never meant to. You meant every word. You decided I was a failure before I even had a chance to prove otherwise. Tyler stood abruptly. So what? You came here to humiliate us? I stood too. Calm, resolute. No, I came to stop being humiliated by you. You didn't exclude me from success. You excluded me from basic respect. I picked up my purse. Jordan stood beside me. My father's voice cracked. Sit down, Emma. Let's discuss this rationally. There's nothing to discuss. I just needed you to know I didn't fail. I won. And I did it without you. Vanessa was crying now. We're still family, Emma. I looked at her. Really looked at her. Family shows up. You showed me the door. Jordan and I walked out together, heads high. Behind us, the table sat in stunned, suffocating silence. 3 months later, my business officially relaunched with a professional rebrand. I was featured in a local magazine's 30 Under 30 Entrepreneurs Spotlight. I hired 2 part-time design contractors to handle overflow work. Moved into a nicer apartment with a dedicated home office. Big windows, real desk, plants everywhere. My father called twice. I let it go to voicemail. Didn't block him. Just wasn't ready. Vanessa sent a lengthy apology text. I read it. Didn't respond immediately. I needed time. Tyler reached out asking for a real conversation. I replied, maybe someday, not today. I didn't cut my family off entirely, but I established firm boundaries. No more group chats, no more events where I'm made to feel small. My grandmother reached out separately with a genuine apology. I accepted. Now we meet for monthly coffee, just the 2 of us. She became the one family relationship I actively nurtured. Jordan celebrated every milestone with me. She became my chosen family. I built a community of fellow women entrepreneurs who actually saw me. I stopped measuring success by my family's impossible standards, put up a vision board in my new office. Goals that mattered to me, not them. I remembered standing outside those locked restaurant doors, heartbroken and excluded. Now I look at all the doors I've opened for myself. They spent years making me feel invisible. Turns out I didn't need their spotlight. I built my own. I don't hate my family, but I don't need their validation anymore. Success feels sweeter because it's entirely, authentically mine. I used to think family meant everything. Now I know the truth. I mean everything, with or without them. If you've ever had to stand up to family betrayal, hit subscribe and tell me your story below. I know I'm not alone in being underestimated by the very people who were supposed to believe in me most. Maybe your family dismissed your dreams too. Maybe you're still fighting to be seen. Either way, you're not alone in this. Drop where you're watching from in the comments. I read every single one and I want to hear from you. If this story resonated, share it with someone who needs the reminder. Your dreams are valid, even when your family can't see them yet. Remember, their doubts don't get to define your destiny. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one.